They call them tunnel tigers. They're building one of the world's great engineering wonders. The Chunnel tunnel may have had its problems, but 150 feet beneath the seabed, the tigers just keep digging. This is their story. Tigers at work. Tigers at play. Tigers at prayer. The tiger's tale.
Had a small fire at M18. The fire is now out.
There is a considerable amount of smoke.
Tunnelling is a risky business. In the 3 years they've been digging from Britain and from France, there have been 9 deaths and some 200 serious injuries. This is one of the regular emergency exercises designed to alert the workforce to the dangers. Fire! Every worker is trained how to use survival techniques, including reporters. Every pack has its leader. One of the 3 tunnel superintendents is Peter Birmingham.
How far down is it?
130 metres.
Right. And that take, what, a couple of minutes?
Oh yeah, about 2 minutes to go down here.
Yeah.
Peter was born in Britain and now lives in Australia. He's married with 3 children, all at university on money he's earned building tunnels all over the world. Tunnelling is hard work. To command respect, you need to be a hard man. Birmingham's word is law.
But it's a dusty old job, isn't it?
It's a very dry because you can see the atmosphere down here. It's all the air and the dust and everything.
Yeah.
You can work up the thirst and the way they work.
We were talking earlier about sort of a tunnel culture and that you get a fix when you come down. I mean, I think for the average person who comes down and sees the conditions, they think you'd be crazy to enjoy it.
They don't come down here, a lot of men, because they like it. They come down to make a living.
Yeah.
And,
do a lot of them make a lot of money and then quit?
Oh yes,
yeah.
That has happened. Some of the best men in tunnel work, you know, they've just made 30, 35 years old, pulled out, gone into other things, bought pubs, bought farms.
But for you, you've earned a lot of money, but you still want to come down and do it?
Oh yeah. It's exciting. This is my job, that's it.
I wouldn't ask you any indelicate questions because you're a big fella. But there's lots of money being talked about how people earn. I mean, how much do people earn? Would you tell me that?
No.
I mean, they quote 1,000 a week. They quote 1,000 plus a week. Right, I won't push it.
A man's money is his own business. That's between the company, himself, and possibly his wife. And maybe she won't even be included in that.
Meet the TBM, the tunnel boring machine, a mechanical monster 900 feet long and weighing nearly 3,000 tons. It eats rock and chalk, then spews it out through a conveyor onto trains which run inside its belly. TBM costs £10 million. It's jammed against the rock face by hydraulic jacks and exerts a force of 4,000 tons. Guided by lasers and satellites, it grinds forward at a rate of 6 feet an hour.
Hydraulic shot.
As the beast gorges its way to France, the men behind its steel teeth build huge concrete rings to line the tunnel. The quicker the rings are built, the bigger the bonuses for the men. Another gang in the tunnel has just broken the world record, 19 rings in an 8-hour shift. Birmingham and his men are out to recapture their record.
We're now in the build area here. This is the erectors, there's the miners building segments. The actual cutting head is something like about another 9-10 metres up in front there.
I'm very proud of the team we have. It's the best that's ever been assembled. Not only the largest, but the best team.
They're called the Tunnel Tigers. Is that a derogatory term, do you think?
That term is usually for the actual miners at the face. They're known as Tunnel Tigers. No, it's not derogatory. It's I think, exemplifies the hardness, the toughness, and the sharpness of those guys. They have to be very fit, but they do need a good brain on them, particularly when they're working with intricate machinery.
Amid all the tunnel's high technology, the traditional skills of mining still have their place.
Okay. How's you looking, Tom? Tom? How's you looking?
It's all right now, it's safe now, I think.
Yeah, it's not as bad as yesterday.
Tunnelling breeds its own culture and comradeship. To be in the club, you need a nickname. Peter Birmingham and his gang are the Strangler and the 40 Thieves. And you need to know the rules of the game they call the crack.
This is Tom Donahue, he's the pit boss.
I see it.
He's pit boss on this shift. Tom was right way through the land service drive and pit boss on here. Commonly known as the Fish.
Why is he called that?
Oh, just a nickname I've had all my life. You know,
Yeah.
followed me around a long time.
What's it like working on this tunnel compared with the others you've worked on?
Well, this is a lot bigger, obviously.
Yeah.
Bigger than I've worked on before, you know.
Yeah.
A lot faster, a lot cleaner.
And what's Pete Birmingham like to work with?
Well, he's all right sometimes, you know. He gets in a temper sometimes, but you get used to that in this game, you know.
Yeah. Do you shout?
Well, we can all shout.
Mind you, you have to have discipline in a place like this, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
all the lads know what the crack is anyway.
Yeah. What is the
No.
crack?
The crack? The crack's when you're having a good time. That's the crack.
Morale is really good. We have a lot of laughs, and we do our work, but we get a few laughs out of it as well.
There's a sense of pride down here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Discipline strong?
Yeah, it's a fairly easygoing atmosphere, but people know, you know, when they're stepping out of line.
Is he a hard man?
Oh, Peter? Yeah, hard and fair. They're all hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like Margaret Thatcher. Tone and style, aren't they?
Environmentalists have bitterly opposed the tunnel, fearing that the waste from the beast will turn the Garden of England into a giant tip. In fact, the 2,000 tons of spoil coming out of the tunnel every hour is being used to reclaim 63 new acres of England at the foot of Dover's famous White Cliffs. Eventually, it'll be landscaped. For now, it's the loading base to stack the concrete rings, the TBM's lifeblood.
Everything what constitutes to build a ring goes on these trains. If we get it in the wrong sequence, well, the tunnel doesn't build, it stops. In actual fact, we are the lifeline of the tunnel. Nice sunny days, hail, snow, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We never stop.
The tunnel is being built by an Anglo-French consortium called Transmanche Link, TML. The scale of the project is mind-boggling. 30 million tons of earth is being moved. 94 miles of tunnel is being built at an escalating cost, so far, £8.5 billion. It all starts in the middle of a mountain in Scotland, where there's a special granite which makes the hardest concrete in the world. It's shipped to a special factory on the Isle of Grain in Kent, where the massive concrete sections are made and taken by train to Dover. 1,000 segments are made every day. Of course, it isn't one tunnel, it's three. 2 for the trains and a smaller service tunnel in between. The French were to dig 12 miles, the British 20. The French terminal is closer to the sea and they've had more difficult ground. To choose the precise route, more than 100 separate test bores were carried out. The tunnel isn't straight. It curls and bends to follow the best seam of chalk. There were problems at the start. The tunnellers hit wet ground. They were equipped for dry conditions. It led to a 4-month delay new men, new machines were brought in.
The 3.5 kilometres from the Kent coast was extremely difficult. We ran into ground there where we had water coming in and where we had fractured rock falls. There was occasions there where we did think we were going to make it. Fortunately, we came out of that rock.
Are you saying that conditions were so bad that you nearly threw the towel in?
Well, it wasn't a case of throwing the towel in, but we were certainly looking at radical ways of altering the design to suit the ground conditions, because the design we had wasn't suited to these ground conditions. It was suited to ground conditions, which we found, I must admit, for the majority of the route.
The morale was rather low on the site, and I think just generally the scale of work hadn't been appreciated, and there weren't enough people with enough experience to cope with the problems. And we sorted out 1 or 2 people that weren't satisfactory for the challenge that was facing us.
To enable trains to cross from one tunnel to another for breakdowns and maintenance, a crossover cavern had to be designed and dug. It was in many ways the greatest challenge of all. The bigger it got, the closer it came to the seabed. When the boring machine eventually broke through, it was entering a cavern created the hard way. Relentless tunnelling in filthy, steamy conditions, much of it by hand. It concentrated minds. It was the ultimate test of trust between brains and brawn.
The crossover is where we were digging this huge hole under the tunnel, under the channel, with 120 feet of water above you, whereby we were issuing instructions daily on readings we were taking, and you had the hand miners carrying out these instructions, so there had to be a rapport between you, and certainly a big element of trust in what you were telling them to do was right. And as I say, there's nothing like 140 feet of water above you to focus some kind of trust.
Ventilation was very difficult. There was a lot of heat because of all the equipment that we had here, and the men worked like Trojans. The men did tremendously well, and they stuck at it right through despite the conditions and the very tight program that we had. They'll all look back and enjoy the fact that they've been here, but the actual construction did take a lot out of them.
For engineers and tunnellers alike, the crossover cavern has been their masterpiece, the world's largest undersea excavation. The heat, the humidity, the noise, it pushed the workers to their limit.
We're working 100% humidity, 35 degrees C most of the time, and it was very tough conditions.
Did you ever think at that stage of pulling out?
We all think of pulling out, but the money keeps us going.
It's very noisy. How do you take all this, the noise and the dirt and the dust? Does it get to you?
It does, yeah. You find your hair gets really terrible. And it's just a case that we can scrub down every time we get out. I think this is one of the first tunnelling jobs the women have been allowed in, and they're not allowed in tunnelling jobs in Europe. They're not allowed down the mines, and that sort of thing. So it's a mega breakthrough for women being down here.
I really do believe that it's a man's environment down here, and I think it's not really the best place for a lady to be. I wouldn't like my wife to work down here.
And you wouldn't want a lady on your ship?
I don't think so, no. I think I'm a little bit like the old, perhaps the easiest way of getting out of it is to say I've inherited a little bit from the Japanese, having worked with them for a while. They believe that the underground god is in fact a goddess, and to have a pretty young lady down the tunnel would possibly offend the goddess, and therefore the water in the face would come in.
There are 1 or 2 that have died in the wall tunnellers who actually don't like women down here.
Yeah, but we win them over. If we show we muck in with the guys, we get covered in mud, that sort of thing, they accept us.
Big machines can only do so much. When it comes to digging the small cross passages and pressure relief ducts, the hand tunnellers take over. They use compressed air jackhammers, known in the trade as air spades.
Pete, this is the sharp end. This is where the real work's done, isn't it?
Oh, these are the real miners, yeah. These are men that really produce tunnel in the old-fashioned way, and this is extremely hard ground here, harder than normally getting in for handwork.
What do you need to be a hand tunneler? Because not anybody could do it, could they?
Oh, I suppose not geography the lads at all, so strong in the back and thick in the head, but you need brains and you need dedication.
Yeah. You've done a bit yourself?
Oh, we've done a bit, yeah. This is where we all started in handwork.
Yeah.
Or pushing skips and then into miner's labour and then onwards.
It looks dangerous to me.
No, they're highly skilled, man. They know what they're doing.
But I mean, they've got that heavy equipment, the rocks falling all around them.
No, it's not falling around them. They know exactly what they're cutting down. They've got all their timber there. If any loose ground, they've got all their timber there ready and their headboards ready just to put in there, because they know exactly what they're doing.
They earn their money, I reckon.